Now I'm here with Bryan Gallagher and Marion Maxwell. We're at Waterways Ireland HQ in Enniskillen, and it's going to be the Winding Banks of Erne. So Marion, can you tell me what inspired this and what it's about?
Well, Fermanagh, there's the old saying that for half the year Lough Erne's in Fermanagh, and for the other half Fermanagh's in Lough Erne. There are lots of stories about the lake. There's history, mythology, stories about poaching, stories about sailing.
Bryan, what's going to happen today?
A different look at Lough Erne. Not so much a dry recitation of facts, but the title sort of tells you a wee bit about it. William Allingham with the beautiful poem, The Winding Banks of Erne. But like Marion said, we'll be talking about things like the big fish that was caught, the connection between Jack the Ripper and Lough Erne. Why is there a significance for the Lough Erne cot and the landings at Normandy? Stuff like that there, a quirky look that we hope will keep people's interest.
And stand where the birds fill the air with their joy all day long, where the trees sway in time and even the birds sing in tune.
And Marion, there'll be a little bit of musical interlude, will there?
We have Jeannie Munro from Boston, now resident in Fermanagh, and a wonderful musician, and she's going to play appropriate music along the way. And we will also have a young man from Belcool who has got a lovely voice, and he's going to sing a couple of songs, and there will be an opportunity for the audience to sing as well.
So let's see what some outsiders have said about our beautiful county, and who better to start with than Nobel laureate Seamus Heaney.
Stand on a hill in South Fermanagh, and the winding banks of Erne are all about you. It looks as if the whole county could be floating on the water. The farmland is green and soft as grass on a drain. The marshland is a mat of roots and rushes spread on brown water. And there at your feet is Lough Erne, girdling and glistening between the islands. And there are the islands, scattered like green moss on a meadow.
Down among the islands, what do we find? A fringe of reeds where a flock of water hens are spluttering about because we disturb them. A shallow spot at the shore where we can moor the boat, a path up to an old farmhouse. And then to our own T.P. Flanagan, he casts an artist's eye on the lake.
All were tragedies, but probably none as poignant as two deaths that occurred in living memory of the Upper Lake. In the bitter winter of 1963, two brothers, William, a postman, and James Rooney, who lived on the island of Enniskillen, were frozen to death in their boats, which were locked in 9 inches of ice. When William, the postman, did not return from delivering the mail, James set out from the island in another boat to search for him. The alarm was raised in the early morning by John Rehill, who was out fothering cattle on the island of Enniskillen, and he saw two boats in the distance locked together in the ice. When the police and neighbours got to the scene, they found the two boats close together. William was lying with his back across the centre of the boat in his postman's uniform, with his bicycle by his side. James was lying on his back in the other boat, which was half full of frozen water. His hands were joined as if in prayer, and his face was above the water. At the inquest, James's wife said that about 6 o'clock he set out in the other boat to search for William. He broke the ice from the shore, she said. I could hear him plain. And about 10 o'clock I heard them calling to each other. I stayed on the shore with my 2 young children most of the night. And at times I thought the calling was getting closer, but it was only the wind. About 3 o'clock, the calling stopped. that was the last I heard.
John Scarlett, a former RIC head constable, constructed 2 eel weirs in 1850 at what we now know as the Weirs Bridge. 700 to 1,000 tons of eels per year were caught there, mostly for local consumption, but also salted, placed in casks and sent off. Dean Henry, in his History of Upper Lough Erne, records that great quantities of silver eels and salmon are taken at Scarlett's Weir, and they can be on the train in 20 minutes and in Billingsgate within 24 hours. Next day, fresh salmon from the Erne in London.